7 ESPN The Zone. You'll be able to click on Zone 2, listen to Huntsville High and Grissom. The rivalry renewed at Milton Frank Stadium. It feels good to say that because last year we tried to say it once, we tried to say it twice, and it never happened.
Yeah, I mean, this rivalry means so much to the city of Huntsville, so much to both schools, both Huntsville High and the Grissom Tigers, and it's always great each week to visit with the head football coach of the Huntsville Crimson Panthers, who, of course, is in, as everyone knows, is in his 5th season, doing an outstanding job. I know it's been a tough beginning, but they played as tough a schedule as anyone to come out of the blocks, and now they will open up 7A Region 4 play at Milton Frank Stadium tonight against the Grissom Tigers. I know they're super motivated. This game did not get played last year, so it's going to be great to get back to normal here and play in front of hopefully a huge crowd for our city athletics. And Mark Fleetwood is good enough to join us this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline for a few minutes. Coach, good morning. I know your football team's anxious to get going. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Good morning to y'all. Ready to roll. Glad that we're playing this game. It's last year it was like you said, we tried to play it once, then twice, and we didn't get it in. So it's exciting to try to get it back and get rolling.
It really it is. And Coach, when you look at Huntsville City football and you look at it, these are the games that really, yes, I mean, football piques kids' interest, but the rivalry games, this is where a lot of interest is piqued.
Excuse me. Yes, it is. And this is the 50th anniversary of the game.
Right, yeah, exactly.
That's pretty neat, to be part of something like that. So I look forward to tonight. As we said, or as you said in the lead-in there, we've played two pretty tough teams here going into this, and I think tonight we find out where we are as far as our region, and what now these games one by one mean something. You've got to make this work for you if you want to be playing in November.
And Coach, you've done this a long time. I mean, you've built teams. You've been in rivalry games like this as a player and a coach. When you've come out of the blocks and maybe not had as much success as you'd hoped, how do you continue to keep your team's confidence up? And I know certainly a game like Grissom shouldn't lack for motivation because of the rivalry and the history, but how do you keep your kids on the uptick heading into a game like this?
Well, just remind them of what games really count here in this schedule. As much as you want to win them all.
Right.
The games right now toward the region are the ones that we need to be concerned about as we move forward here, and those are the ones that are going to really count for us. So, yeah, I think they understand that, and that they understand, who they've played, and then going back each week, looking at the film and the things that we got to improve on, and why we stumbled a little bit coming out of the blocks. So those are the things that you do is make it real as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Coach, break it down for us. Grissom, Huntsville, break it down. What stands out to you? How do you think this one's going to play out? Well,
it's always I'm not a prognosticator by any means, but as I watch them and I see what they're trying, they're doing some good things. They've got a couple of weapons in the backfield and a couple of weapons at wide receiver, and they've got an athletic quarterback that's moving around. So we've got to make it hard on them offensively, and make sure that that we don't give up the easy plays and the big plays that are big momentum swings in games like this. Defensively, they're really solid up front. So I think for us to control the line of scrimmage on both sides is going to be really big, and that's probably where the game's going to end up being won is who doesn't make the turnover and who gets the turnovers, and then establishing the run and winning the contact war up front, and running and controlling that clock.
That's a great point, Coach, because when you look at Grissom, they're pretty big and athletic in their front seven defensively, so there's going to be a premium on kind of getting a hat on a hat for your offensive line tonight.
Yeah, there is, and I think we've had two good tests that.
Oh yeah.
The the challenge that we've had that we have here is something that possibly we've seen along the way. And so, this is what this is all about. To me, I mean, these are the games you look forward to, and especially being such a big rival, and we didn't play last year. So, going in and us getting control of the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, I think is going to be a big key in who wins this game tonight.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, is a big key going to be who can control their emotions, though, because we've talked about it. I know the kids have heard it, that they did not get to play this last year. This game has not been played, and the first time you're going to line up against, your friends. I mean, they know each other, and is whoever can control these emotions in that first half the best going to have the best leg up?
Well, I do. I think keeping your head, keeping your composure here, not letting something big happen early and let it run the next 3 or 4 plays, where something else bad happens to you, that the emotion of that is big. I think there is. I think early on that could be a big factor in where it is there at the end.
Mm-hmm. It definitely could, no question about it. I think that's going to be a key, is kind of controlled aggression. But, Coach, I know over the first 2 weeks there has been some bright spots offensively and defensively. What have you liked about offensively? What have you seen? I mean, I thought Lovelace was really good at wide receiver last week against a defense that is going to be as good as any you play all year. Certainly Carlin Long has had moments during these 2 games. What has pleased you, first of all, offensively about what you've seen in fits and spurts? Just need to be more consistent, though, tonight and play a full 4 quarters against Grissom.
Well, I mean, we've been able in both games to drive the ball, and we hadn't answered on the drives. And I think that's big because, being able to take the ball and going against some of these defenses, they're going to try to make you go 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 plays without making a mistake. And I think, we've shown bits of that. I've been concerned about the red zone getting down there and us not cashing in when we have the opportunity to. So I think we got to improve there. But that's what I like offensively. And then the ability to have a threat. I'm ready for, Big Cam White to step out. He's somebody I think that can change the tone of the game, and like you said, Jeremiah Lovelace, he's shown some stuff getting him the ball and getting him the ball in space and letting him work a little bit. I think is something that I look forward to seeing more week to week as we move here, because he's shown bits and pieces of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then defensively, I know there's been some issues in the secondary. You've got a lot of young talent in there, though, but I thought some strides were made, especially along the front 7 against Mountain Brook. So Chris Yeager, we know his history with offensive line, so they're going to be good up front. But I thought your kids held their own in the running game. Just have to, kind of clean some things up, assignment and technique-wise, in the secondary.
Yeah, we do, and I mean we've got a good running back in Carlin Long, and it's been tough sledding for him for the last 2 weeks because we've played some people that have really challenged us up front, and I think they've taught us something. We've got some younger guys, and trying to get them in with some of the seniors on the offensive line and get them some experience, and that's been testy at times. So. I'm just, I'm ready for him to put it together and let Carlin have a big night, and then I think as the running game works with the play action, and then Stone's improvement from game 1 to game 2, although it doesn't show on the scoreboard, he did things a lot better the second game. So if we can just take this one more step, I look forward to seeing what that will look like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Coach, Huntsville does come out victorious in this rivalry game tonight if you guys do this.
Don't turn it over, and do a little bit better in the red zone than we've done. And, I think that's a big thing. And then defensively, don't give up the big ones. Make them go to distance.
Mm-hmm. And Coach, I know also in the special teams aspect, you guys, had a missed assignment that led to a block punt and a quick change score for Mountain Brook. You don't need to give Grissom those kind of opportunities tonight. I know the kicking game, there's always some hidden things, and I know that needs to, be sharp tonight.
Yeah, it does. We've missed a field goal in both the games. We've got a young kicker, but I think he's getting better and better in practice each week. He does handle all our chores, the punt, the kickoff, and the field goal extra point. So, that part of it in this game right here, whoever ends up playing better in the special teams, I think it's a big advantage for them.
Mm-hmm. No question about it. And Coach, I know it's going to be a big night tonight. My final question for you before we wrap it up is I wanted to ask you about your young quarterback. He's still really early on in his career because he started about 5 games a year ago as he was inserted into the lineup as a sophomore. How have you seen Stone Lawless kind of grow in the first couple weeks against high-level competition as a quarterback headed into this challenge tonight against rival Grissom?
Well, it's been hard these 2 weeks because we've played 2 really good defenses, but just watch him maturing as he takes control of the game. Stone's able to take what the coaches, teach each week and take it to the field, take it out there into the huddle or on the field with the offense, and just to see him maturing as he goes. I know, last week his ball delivery, where he was going with the ball, was a lot better, and the reads were better. So, just to watch the growth, and he is such a competitor and hates to lose. So, it's been testy the last 2 weeks. So to watch him be able to handle that, keep his composure, go back to the practice field, I think we're getting ready to see something from him, and that's just what I'm looking forward to, is just seeing him have a breakout game.
No doubt. And then, Coach, the last thought, I was talking to Scott about this, and we paid homage to him yesterday because he meant so much to 97.7 The Zone and Steve and Wes and myself. But I know as a young man he recruited you out of high school in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and certainly you knew him well during his coaching days. And when you've been a high school coach, I'm sure you dealt with him in the recruiting process. But I wanted you to give some thoughts, just a couple thoughts real quickly on the passing of Jimmy Fuller. I know you knew him. That's when you look back on all of that, and Coach Fuller and I crossed paths for the first time in the fall of '78, and he was recruiting me. They were recruiting me as a quarterback there at Jack State, and Coach Fuller had such a great personality. He never met a stranger, and he always had a laugh and a smile about him. And I was telling you yesterday, I'll never forget my father making me call back those coaches that were kind enough to offer me a scholarship, and Jacksonville State was one of them. And I called him, and I could remember the phone call, the conversation like it was yesterday. And I said, Coach Fuller, this is Mark Fleetwood from Lakeside High School in Atlanta, which, I thought he might know who I was, but, the way he hesitated, he said, oh, yeah, Mark, go ahead. And I said, well, I was just letting you know that I'm going to go to the University of South Carolina. And it gets silent for a moment. He said, well, that's not all that bad. You're still a Gamecock. Absolutely. That's classic, Coach Fuller.
So, it tickled me. And then, of course, I saw him years later when I was coaching at Jack State. Of course, he was at Alabama, and he always put his arm around you. I didn't know him, of course, like Wes and a lot of those other guys on the field, but just, Coach Fuller was a legend, and he loved people. And it was very obvious he loved doing what he did for his career as coaching football. So it's a lot. We lost a good one in Coach Fuller.
We certainly did. Well, we look forward to tonight. The Crimson Panthers going for their first 7A Region 4 victory in their opener. Milton Frank Stadium against rival Grissom, 50th anniversary of this unbelievable rivalry, as Coach mentioned earlier. Look forward to hopefully seeing a Crimson Panther win tonight, get in that win column. But we always appreciate your time, and good luck tonight, Coach.
Okay, I appreciate it, guys. I'll see y'all tonight.
All right, thank you. Coach Mark Fleetwood with us, as we mentioned. I mean, we ran down a list of the games that were going on already. Some other ones to keep an eye on. Madison County will travel to New Hope this evening. Fife will run down all their records on the North Alabama High School Football Scoreboard Show because we have a short amount of time here. They're going to welcome Collinsville tonight. We know what they've been able to accomplish. Whitesburg Christian will welcome Falkville to town this evening. So Decatur Heritage is going to welcome Phillips. Got a lot of high school football, a lot of great high school football hitting the gridiron this evening. So get on out there and enjoy some high school football because there is a plenty to do. Alabama and Miami tomorrow. Again, we've previewed that one. Nick Saban also talking about remaining calm in week 1.
Well, we're obviously looking forward to the first game. I'm sure the players are very much excited about having a game to play, trying to create an identity as a team, create value for themselves individually for how they compete, how they play. I think the big thing, which I've said before in first games, is you got to be able to play the next play. Sometimes unexpected things happen in first games, things that you weren't prepared for. So I think it's really important that everybody can keep the right mindset.
Important that the team does keep that same mindset.
Yeah, it is very important. I mean, you have to come out and be focused and take care of business. I know there's been some concern about if the players were all bought in. We know what happened with Quandarius Robinson from Jackson Owen. He's been suspended indefinitely. He won't play in the game. No surprise. He recently had a situation off the field with a DUI that was very unfortunate. He won't be there, but and there's some concern about the offensive line because it hasn't been together completely. We don't know officially the availability. Coach Saban said they're available as far as a guy like Kendall Randolph and LeBron Ray, and I think Coach Saban reiterated last night that LeBron Ray and DeMarco Helms would be game-time decisions as to whether or not they'd be back there. Certainly Brian Branch would almost assuredly be in DeMarco Helms' place if he can't go. If Kendall Randolph is not at right tackle, I strongly believe it would be Chris Owens moving over from center, and then you'd have Darian Dalcourt in the pivot at the center spot with his first start. So, again, there are some questions because Alabama has not played. We saw Ohio State struggle a little bit last night before they subdued Minnesota, and they definitely had some struggles on the defensive end. So we'll see if Alabama, how they play on both sides of the ball and how sharp the kicking game is. I still think Alabama's better than Miami in all three phases. I do think the Canes have some really good players, and Manny Diaz certainly has that program on the right track. I just still think it's not a very good matchup, though. And we'll talk to Christopher Stock of Inside the U, part of 24/7 Sports, because, Scott, we've talked mostly from the Alabama side. And Christopher Stock, who's covered the Canes for 2 decades, will be able to kind of help us fill in the blanks with Miami.
All right, let's get our break in. When we come back, we will indeed fill in the blanks when it comes to Miami and what to expect from the Hurricanes when they line up against Alabama tomorrow in Atlanta.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Just got a wreck in Lacey, 231 in Fields Road. Nobody hurt. Most of it's off in the median. Northbound on the Parkway, just north of Useless. That one had an injury. North and southbound problems at County Line and Arbor Chase, working to clear that one. And Sparkman and Blue Springs should be just about ready to move. That one did have an injury. Snelling has packaging and assembly positions in Owens Crossroads. These are first shift with great benefits. No temp here. Company payroll from day one. 256-382-4000. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Everybody knows the fun begins when you get to the end zone, where you can enjoy half-price apps every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, half-price burgers every Tuesday, plus late-night pizza specials and a spectacular menu that includes jumbo wings, half-pound burgers, Tex-Mex, and an incredible selection of craft beer, and plenty of big-screen TVs. It's all happening at the end zone, 1851 University Drive, 2030 Cecil Ashburn at Jones Valley Station, and coming in early 2022, Mid-City End Zone at 1115 McMurtry next to the Target Shopping Center. Nothing beats a great burger to celebrate Labor Day weekend. And at Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, we couldn't agree more. And if you haven't tried our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness, then head on down and try one of Bad Daddy's award-winning burgers now. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer. Celebrate Labor Day weekend and let us do the cooking with a trip to Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway between Bob Wallace and Governors.
Have you got your tickets yet? Single game tickets for the Rocket City Trash Pandas full season are still available. Every Friday and Saturday night at Toyota Field ends with fireworks, and after the completion of every Sunday game, kids get to run the bases. You can reserve your spot at Toyota Field for any of the remaining Trash Pandas home games right now. Go to TrashPandasBaseball.com to get your tickets while supplies last. Trash Pandas Baseball. Ignite the season.
Sitting here with Ann Adams of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Rise Real Estate. Is it a good time to sell your home, Ann?
Yes, it is. We have people relocating from all over the country.
Why should we choose Rise Real Estate?
Well, we've been selling real estate in North Alabama for 36 years and have sold more real estate than any other real estate company, period.
Do you help your customers through the entire process?
Yes, our agents are with you during the whole process from start to finish, from beginning to end.
In your relocation services, you have a whole team.
Yes, we have a dedicated relocation department helping customers move seamlessly into the area.
Ann Adams has been writing contracts for the last 36 years. She has the experience to help you list and sell your home, downsize your home, or help pick the perfect spot north of Alabama for you to build a future.
Call Ann Adams at 256-337-2625 or on the web at www.bhhsriserealestate.com.
Tom Luganbill here for Woody Anderson Ford. When I was in the Tennessee Valley, one of the things that impressed me the most was the quality of the people. People like Bobby White and his team at Woody Anderson Ford. And now you can experience the tremendous new service lanes and showroom at Woody Anderson Ford at Jordan and Sparkman, or just stop by for breakfast or lunch at Henry's Mustang Cafe. And in Madison, visit Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, just south of 72. Like a great college football tradition, always there, Woody Anderson Ford.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Drinking coffee straight from the pot. Power move. Wearing a bathrobe to work. Power move. Switching to super fast, extra reliable internet from WOW. Power move. Switch and save with WOW Internet for just $19.99 a month. It's switching season, so make a move with our best deal of the year. Get the speed you need starting with Internet 100 for just $19.99 a month. Plus, ask how to get $200 on us. Sign up at wowway.com today. Wow. Limited to new customers with autopay and paperless billing. Offer subject to change. Restrictions and terms apply.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. I hope all of you are well. These are trying times we're experiencing right now, and I want you to know that we at Baumhauer's are committed more than ever to providing a legendary dining experience to everyone. Everyone is important to us, and everyone is welcome. Please allow us to serve you in a way that makes you feel safe, appreciated, welcome, and special. Because we're all special in the eyes of the ones and the one that counts. God bless.
The following liner is courtesy of Frank Caliendo. Check out Frank online at frankcaliendo.com.
I tell you what, man, that Talkin Ball, some good stuff. It's some f***ing good stuff, man. I love to listen to these guys. Tell you what, man.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For your Friday, expect a mostly sunny sky. High temperatures topping out in the mid to upper 80s for the afternoon. It will be another dry day as well. For your Friday night, expect partly cloudy skies. Low temperatures will fall into the mid to upper 60s for the overnight. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Coming up next, it's the Tom Abraham Show with me, Tom Abraham. Now back to more Talkin Ball with Scott and Drew.
All right, 8:27 on a Friday morning. Welcome back. Come tomorrow, 2:30, Alabama, Miami, renewing the series for the first time since 1993 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Top-ranked Alabama taking on 14th ranked Miami. Drew? Should be a good game, we expect. I'm wondering if Alabama will follow the same game plan, though, as Ohio State. Maybe have to shake off a little bit of maybe Bryce Young have to settle into the game a little bit before he starts to feel it, kind of like C.J. Stroud last night. But defensively, this Alabama team may be getting better than as the game goes on too.
We'll see. I mean, I do think Alabama defensively they is ahead of the offense in that regard. I think it's a veteran defense, could be the best in college football this year, but certainly Bryce Young, a young quarterback. I do expect Alabama to test the Miami front with a run to settle him in before allowing him to go to work. So this Miami team, the strength is their front. I think they have an outstanding front. They've got a lot of experience back on both sides of the football under Manny Diaz, who's done a nice job rebuilding this program and taking them back among the top 20 in the country. And who better than to help us break it down? He's from inside the U, part of 24/7 Sports, and as we said, really for 2 decades now has covered the Miami Hurricanes, and that's Christopher Stock, and he's been good enough to give us some time this morning on the day before the game, or roughly a little less, or a little more, than 24 hours before we're about to see these two teams hook up, but he's been good enough to join us. Christopher, welcome to Huntsville, Alabama. You're with Drew and Scott. It's really a pleasure to have you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. What's going on, guys? Appreciate you having me on.
Well, let's break it down. We know the excitement level up here as top-ranked Alabama getting ready to take on 14th-ranked Miami. What's the excitement level there for the Canes to try to get this upset in Week 1?
Yeah, definitely a lot of excitement. It seems obviously more than normal than for a season opener because of Alabama. Miami's been searching for a big win like that for years, it seems like. So they're hoping, Miami's fan base, coaching staff, everybody's hoping that their experience, led by their quarterback, D'Eriq King, that's a great place to start. And by all accounts, he seems healthy and ready to go. So they're hoping and seeing if they could pull it off. And obviously Miami's not played Alabama in quite some time and watching from afar. But they have played Clemson. They played Clemson last year. I only compare the programs because both these two teams are certainly on top of the college football world for years now. So we'll see. We'll see if Miami learned from that experience a year ago when they got beat 42-17.
Mm-hmm. No question. And what is the overall feel, though, of where Manny Diaz has this program headed right now, Christopher?
For me, it's a wait-and-see approach because 6-7 in year one, losses to Duke, FIU, and Louisiana Tech don't sit well when you're looking at a program. And then last year, you go 8-3, but you get blown out against Clemson. You get blown out against North Carolina. You're two better teams, and that North Carolina game over 500 yards rushing. And that, I know we're going to talk about the Alabama game, but that sticks out in my mind as being issues for this one. So we will see on Manny Diaz. We don't know exactly what he has as a head coach. I think some people see the positives, increase in the win total, but where is it going? And this is a year that you're expecting him to really have a productive, positive season, 10 wins, just because you have so many returners, both sides of the ball, so many different guys. And you're looking at, again, D'Eriq King, when you have a quarterback with experience and playmaking ability and a guy that's shown it, it's time to produce wins. And so, again, wait and see. And people have picked North Carolina to win the division, but I think that would be a disappointment from Miami's standpoint if they do not win the division, even though they were not expected to.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been kind of mystifying to see Miami struggle for as long as they have since that last really good run under Larry Coker from 1999 through 2002, really, and Butch Davis. Butch Davis really building that team. Larry Coker taking over the stewardship, winning a national championship with one of the most loaded teams, maybe the most talented in college football history in 2001, and really should have won the national title over Ohio State in 2002. In your mind, you started covering the team really right after that in 2003. What has been Miami's biggest bugaboo as to not being what we saw from the early 80s through 2002, even though there was a little bit of after Alabama in 93, there was a little bit of a period of slippage, but again, they got back on their feet when Butch Davis was brought in and got through the probation. But what's been the biggest bugaboo in your mind to getting Miami back to being an elite program?
So, yeah, you touched on the mid-90s. They were under probation, so that affected them there. Butch comes in, gets talent in the program. And I think it's interesting to bring it up because with this game and paying attention to Alabama a lot more closely than I have in years past, you're thinking about what Miami was essentially when I started covering the team those early 2000s and what happened compared to Alabama, which has not dropped off. And for me, I remember specifically was the recruiting. The first year I covered the team in 2003, there were 6 first-rounders, Sean Taylor, John Vilma, and those guys. And after that, there's a big difference between, and you guys know from paying attention to Alabama, there's a big difference between elite-level recruits and then that next tier. And I think Miami has struggled there's so many different things, but they've struggled to get that elite-level recruit. And then when you get 1 or 2, you've got to get more. And because all of a sudden, even if you get a good running back, for example, when Duke Johnson was at Miami, great player, but your time runs out really quickly in college football. If you're not maximizing when you have these guys, then all of a sudden you're restarting quite a bit. So certainly sometimes it's been the quarterback play. I think in general, head coaching, nobody's really gotten it going. It seems like they rotate a new coach every 3 or 4 years between after Larry Coker over to Randy Shannon, and then Al Golden, Mark Richt, and now Manny Diaz. And, yeah, it's kind of been a 3-4 year cycle, these coaches. And you touched on Manny Diaz. If he doesn't get it going, he'll probably be under that same timeline. But so we'll see. I think ultimately recruiting is the big deal, making sure you're getting enough high-level recruits. But even with that, it's been very interesting because, and not to ramble too much, but with recruiting, Miami essentially in South Florida doesn't recruit against the teams they play against in their own division. Mm-hmm. Like they don't go head-to-head in recruiting very often with North Carolina, Virginia Tech, Duke, Pittsburgh. They don't go head-to-head, but that's who they compete with. So it's been a little bit of an interesting dynamic with putting together their program and their team. And they've only won the division once. They've only won 10 games once since 2003, and that was in 2017. So they have fell short quite a bit over the years.
Yeah, and I'm sure it really hurts too because Clemson has become the face of the ACC as far as college football goes, and that is where Miami used to be the face.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And for years, you're not talking about a 2-3 year cycle where you get a few good players and a good quarterback in. You're talking about longevity, and that's what all these top programs hope for. You touched on Alabama, Oklahoma, Ohio State. These top-level programs have it really going on year in and year out, and you're putting together really strong decades. And Miami they've not even 10 years we're talking about that. They've had a tough time having successive season. The bowl record isn't even there, and it's hard for them to win bowl games. So really when you look at it, it's been very interesting to watch. And like you said, Clemson's been on top of the ACC, and then Florida State has had their run during this time. They win a national title, and they had really strong teams with Jimbo Fisher there. So Miami's hoping, and the fan base is hoping. It's very common. It's Miami back every time you see a little bit of momentum, but you got to stack a good season on top of a good season, start to really build something. And they're obviously hopeful in Coral Gables that Manny Diaz is the guy that they're starting to make some headway with recruiting, and they get a couple 5-stars last year, local guys, and again, you're hoping to build from it. I do think that they got a nice quarterback for the future, and that's always a good place to start. And I think in Jake Garcia, so we will see. And again, your recruiting isn't where they're at right now with this class, but they're hoping a successful season will help build for the future moving forward.
And we're talking to Christopher Stock inside the U. This offense, you talked about De'Aaron King. He was such a big impact guy coming over from Houston last year. The unfortunate injury at the end, though, but now he seems to be back and healthy, back as a super senior, and will be, of course, available tomorrow, which is huge for Miami. But talk about the rest of this offense, and I know you just did a feature on a tight end, Will Mallory. In the past, Alabama's had some trouble. Kyle Pitts certainly gave everybody problems last year, including Alabama. But talk about this young man and potentially some weapons that could make plays against this Alabama defense that I think has a chance to be really elite.
Yeah, starting with Will Mallory at tight end. First off, he's not Kyle Pitts. So
Yeah.
But he's a good player. You know, he's 6'5", and you'll see it in pads. You'll be like, wow, this guy's a big target out there. They put him up a line of scrimmage next to the offensive lineman, obviously, but they do like to split him out a little bit too. And what surprises me, and I mentioned in the article, and we've seen this for a few years now. He's 3 years in the program, year 4 for him here, but he's got some speed downfield. They clocked him at 21.7 miles per hour on an 88-yard touchdown, so he can get it and get upfield a little bit, long stride guy. And it'll be interesting because you're obviously not expecting him to run free against an Alabama defense that's tough, so he's going to have to make some tough catches, but he's going to have to be really good in this one for Miami to have a shot. He's their best offensive weapon, I think, because, again, when you have a good tight end, you're able to do certain things and kind of move him around a little bit and kind of provide a little bit of a mismatch. In the article, it's titled "Matchup Problem," but that's just because head coach Manny Diaz said that they feel very confident and will, and we'll see. You know, Miami's had some good tight ends over the years, and we'll certainly look into add his name, and it's a great opportunity for him. He has started some over the last few years, you know, when Brevin Jordan's been out, but this is unquestioned. He's the number one guy and top target.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are other guys. Go ahead.
No. You said a top target, and obviously that top target is from De'Aaron King. How remarkable is it that he is able to be on the field playing against Alabama in week 1 and what would appear to be at full speed?
Yeah, and obviously you hear optimism over the offseason. He's going to be ready, all this stuff from the coaches and players and things like that, but you wait and see, right? Like, how is it going to happen? But we were out there the first 2 full days of practices, and if you didn't know he was hurt, you wouldn't know anything by watching him. So he looks good and confident. He didn't miss any practices. It's very surprising. I think the only thing I would say is if anybody would be able to make this return at quarterback, it's kind of De'Aaron, kind of just knowing him a little bit and his work ethic and all these things, that he's the kind of the guy that would do this, and he's ready to go and wants to try to pull this thing off. And we'll see, you know, how effective he'll be, but I don't think his physical health will be in question. I think he'll try to run when he can and throw and do all these things, and certainly there might be a little bit of maybe a little bit of rust to knock off at the beginning, but I think every player is going to deal with that. So, yeah, injury aside, like I said, you just wouldn't know he was hurt. And it's very surprising, even though you heard about it, being optimistic in the offseason, but just to see it, it's really impressive.
Well, and Christopher, I know you were about to delve into Miami offensively. The key is going to be up front, though. This Miami offense, 2 years ago when Manny first got there, the offensive line was green, really struggled. Got a lot of experience coming back, though. They are a little banged up. They may not be intact for later, as we may see later in the season. What's the outlook for the O-line against Alabama in your mind coming up in a little over 24 hours?
Yeah, I think there's to be big question marks on Miami's offensive line, even with the experience. Starting with Zion Nelson at left tackle, coaches keep saying he's going to be ready. I'm not convinced of that. Even if they put him out there, I wonder how effective he'll be. He's missed maybe half of fall camp. When we've been out there, we haven't really seen him do a whole lot. So, but again, they're saying behind closed doors he's doing everything. So we'll take that for what it's worth. They've got some guys with experience, but I just wonder. You wonder how good they are with experience. Sometimes it doesn't come together, or they're not as good individually as players. So we'll see. I think that could be difficult. I think in particular running the ball. I feel like there's going to be times when the running back gets the handoff and Alabama's in the backfield. So we'll see how the offensive line does. They're certainly going to need to play well against this front for Miami to have a shot. Other guys, interesting name to watch for is Jared Williams, number 62. So he started at right tackle last year. He's the guy that would play left tackle if Zion's unable to go or be effective. And Jared is one of these rare seventh-year players. I mean,
oh, wow.
24 years old and a lot of experience. So it's very interesting to see how he does. And I think, again, De'Aaron's 24, year 6. So you're talking about some guys with real experience, and you're hoping from a Miami standpoint that will pay off in this one.
Mm-hmm. And then conversely, I said when you came on and we were talking to Christopher Stock inside the U 24/7 Sports, that this Miami defensive line might be the strength of this team. How do you see, and Manny Diaz, of course, we know his defensive pedigree, this Miami defense, how do you see them matching up against an Alabama offense that is going to be talented but lacking in experience in some key areas also?
Yeah, so Miami's defense has a real weakness at linebacker, undersized, unproductive, whatever you might call it, all sorts of things. So they've got issues at linebacker, I think, and they're going to start a couple undersized guys, and the coaches are confident in their speed, so we will see how that goes. I think as far as a strength of their defense, I think it starts at safety with Bubba Bolden, number 21.
Yeah.
I like him in the back. He's got to play really well. And their corners, I think that they're solid. I think that they've got experience. They've got some versatility in the back. Defensive line, they bring back guys, but they're missing that elite guy that they had a year ago, and Jalen Phillips, a first rounder, and they don't have that. They're mostly going to rely on a wave of two groups of linemen that can provide a lot of depth, keep guys fresh. Some guys, again, with experiences. We're talking about this all over the field with Miami, but no real standouts with the top two defensive lines, and so they're hoping it's more of a committee that they play well together, that kind of thing. And we'll see how they match up. I think in general with Miami's defense, if they're not able to stop the run, they're going to have a long day. And we've seen Miami struggle against the run, and certainly that's going to play into Alabama's favor with a guy making his first start there. So Miami knows that. I'm sure Alabama knows what the game plan is for Miami. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But certainly some question marks on defense for Miami.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No doubt, Christopher. And as we're wrapping it up with you, in your mind, how does Miami give themselves a chance to win this game in the fourth quarter? I see it as a 41-13 type game for Alabama. I'm not sure if Miami's quite ready for this challenge yet. I do think they're improving under Manny, but if we saw Minnesota last night really give a fight to Ohio State, how does Miami kind of do that against Alabama?
Yeah, I watched that game too. Obviously, a couple differences with that one. It's at Minnesota. It's a league game. Miami has not seen Alabama. You hear about it. You don't know what. I think that's what. If I just were to guess, I think that's what overwhelms teams in the opener in some of these non-conference games that Alabama's had success in. Is these teams don't really know what it's like to face an Alabama, and I think Miami will face that, even though they faced Clemson last year, so they can take a little bit from that, but. I think D'Eriq King's got to play really well. I think they've got to have a lot of balance on offense. I don't think they can just sit back and pass or sit back and run. I think they've got to be able to mix it up. They've got to be able to mix it up in their passing game with all different levels. Throw to the back, mix it up with their receivers going deep and short. It's got to be just this big combination of productive plays on offense and defense. They've got to be able to make Bryce Young uncomfortable. I think you'll see blitzes. I think you'll see it early. They'll try to get after him. And then they've got to find a way to somehow stop this running game. So that's going to be kind of the game plan. I think they're going to try to sit back and zone a little bit more because I'm not sure that they feel like they can run with Alabama's wideout. And we'll see. It's going to be a heavy Alabama crowd, I would assume. That's a big difference than playing at home. Miami's typically struggled away from South Florida in these kind of games. So we'll see. I think your score line isn't wrong. I think you see the line from Vegas. It's 19, 18, 19, 20 points. So it's going to be hard. And again, for me personally, I've said this, I've had a hard time getting past what happened last year in Miami's big games. It's one of those things for me. It's hard to predict something we haven't seen. Either players playing better than that they've shown or a team putting together a better result than we've shown. But last year in Miami's big games, they came out flat and were dominated and weren't competitive. And Alabama certainly has all the respect in the world from Miami, and we'll see how it goes, even with Alabama's new faces and whatnot. But a big, tough task for Miami. There's no doubt.
Well, great stuff, Christopher. We appreciate the time. First time on the show, 19th year covering the Miami Hurricanes. As we said, nearly 2 decades covering this proud program. But let everybody know how to follow your work, and we know you're going to have blowout coverage for Inside the U coming from Atlanta.
Yeah, InsideTheU.com, plenty of stuff, in-depth stuff. We do a lot of VIP stuff before and after the game. But, the Inside the U YouTube channel, I know a lot of people are excited about that. It's grown quite a bit with videos and practice, all kinds of stuff there. And, yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Inside the U. So I definitely appreciate you having me on. It should be an interesting game.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
Let's get our break in. When we come back, got to wrap up our final segment of Talking Ball for the week.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Still trying to clear a wreck in Lacey, 231 and Fields Road. It turned out to be a no injury. Northbound on the Parkway north of Useless reported an injury. It should be clearing County Line and Arbor Chase. That one had north and southbound blockage, so they may still be working on trying to get it completely wrapped up. You be careful. We got a lot of folks scrambling trying to get in on time this morning. Are you over 35 and overweight? Chances are your hormones are keeping you from losing weight. Find out with a free quiz at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
The Labor Day savings inside the Home Depot means something different once you're back out there doing. In here, it's 3 bags of Miracle Grow garden soil for $10. Out there, it's a backyard that looks like $1 million. In here, it's a special buy on a Lillard White bath vanity. Out there, it's a guest bath ready for guests. Get back to more doing with store-wide savings for house-wide doing. Only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Valid through September 6, 2021. Limit 75 bags per customer. While supplies last. See store for details. U.S. only.
If you need a car, McCurry Motors is ready to put you in a quality vehicle, and in-house financing is available. If you have a job, McCurry Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit McCurrySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. Call 256-713-0575.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up. Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner of University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Madison Academy football. And a quick shout out to my son, Avery Seaton, number 19. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including our all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and the sporting new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com to view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see you in the Kia. Go Mustangs!
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It is time for your tomorrow's headlines today, and really the big one that came out yesterday via The Athletic. They have been all over this. The Big 12 is eyeing expansion, and the 4 teams that they are targeting: BYU, UCF, Cincinnati, and Houston. They've gone to so far as already as Bob Bowlesby has already visited the Houston campus to talk to the Cougars to gauge, I guess, their interest in it. But it appears that the Big 12 is working fast to make this happen.
Trying to salvage themselves, and would be a very interesting basketball league. Sort of surprised there's no mention of SMU and coming over to that league, but certainly expected Houston. Gus would be very happy to be back among the Power 5 at UCF already. We had already heard the BYU report.
Right.
That they were, and BYU really needs to find a conference, I think, for all their athletics. Certainly they're in the West Coast Conference in basketball, but football would be better off not, I think, trying to survive as an independent. There's no question about that.
They're saying BYU would be a football-only school in the Big 12, and the basketball would stay.
Why?
I know.
That's just so stupid. Get out of the West Coast Conference. The Gonzaga's going to cave your head anyway, and go get your head caved in the Big 12, a real league. I mean, my goodness. Get out of the West Coast Conference. It's a top-heavy league that's not very good.
The American Athletic Conference requires 27 months of notice and a $10 million penalty for departing members. They did let UConn leave 12 months early out of their deal for $17 million. So it does appear that is the 4 schools that they are targeting to move into the Big 12. The other story to focus: the Atlanta Braves get it done last night. By the skin of their chinny chin, 6-5 over Colorado. The Rockies score 5 in the third. That win was big because the Mets have won 4 in a row, and the Phillies have won 6 in a row as they come from a 6-0 deficit to beat the Nationals 7-6. So your standings, Drew: 2-game lead for the Braves over the Phillies, 5-game lead over the Mets.
Yeah, and while they're out of Los Angeles after the bullpen couldn't hold 2 leads, and it was a high-level series, but the Braves just could not get the big outs when they needed them down the stretch. The toughest outs to get really are the last 9,
right,
in the 7th, 8th, and 9th against a ball club like the Los Angeles Dodgers, who now have really caught the San Francisco Giants. Got to give the Dodgers a lot of credit because the Giants have been arguably the most consistent team in baseball, but the Dodgers starting to surge. But again, the Braves just need to continue to beat these. They need to win this series in Colorado. They need to take 3 out of 4 at least from them because Colorado is not very good. And they haven't seen the Rockies all year, but that was a good win, 6-5. Found a way. Big home run by Adam Duvall. I believe it was his 30th of the year. To give the Braves the lead, and they were able to make it stand up. Of course, it wouldn't be Will Smith without base runners. I mean, he's not ever probably going to have a 1-2-3 inning. You're going to have to, walk back up the tunnel and smoke a cigarette or take a drink or something because that's just the way he functions. But he certainly got that big double play to get out of the mess last night and get that save. And the Braves just need to string some wins together because it was a tough series in Los Angeles.
All right, so it looks like this. The Braves have a game with the Rockies today. By the way, the Rockies, they are not a great ball club. They are 61-73, but they are 43-23 at home this season, which is one of the best home records in all of Major League Baseball. The Phillies have the Marlins, and the Mets have the Nationals. So this is where now The Braves, I looked at the schedule. They're going to be playing a lot of the divisional opponents. They've got games now with the Nationals and the Marlins and the Phillies and the Mets all coming up. So this is where the division is going to be won. Is it going to stay tight? Are the Braves going to be able to separate themselves? It appeared that they were going to do so a week ago, and things have gotten tighter just a little bit. All right, hey, don't forget, head to WZZN.half-off deal right now. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on sale, $50 worth of food for $25. It's going fast. If you want to get that for your tailgating weekend, go ahead and do so. $25 remain there. Don't forget,
already
high school
half of them
football.
gone. Or no, over half.
Over half.
Because it was 60. Over half already gone.
Yeah, 35 have bit the dust. Great night for high school football tonight. 97.7 ESPN The Zone, truly your home for high school football. Madison Academy, DAR on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Then on ESPN 2 or Zone 2, you got Huntsville High and Grissom. Listen to the 50th annual rivalry game. And then the North Alabama High School Football Scoreboard Show will be at 9:30. If Madison Academy is not done, tune into Zone 3 to listen to that. You've got a lot of choices on this Friday night. And then don't forget tomorrow, 2:30, Alabama, Miami, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thank you to Bob Godsey, Mark Fleetwood, Christopher Stock. Everybody enjoy your weekend of football. We'll be back on Tuesday, taking Labor Day off.
See ya.
In today's real estate market, you need the right professionals to help make sure your home purchase is smooth and hassle-free. That's where Jacob Title comes in. Stan McDonald and the staff at Jacob Title cater to the realtor and clients who are looking for a top-flight closing experience. Jacob Title uses the latest and best technologies to ensure a safe and secure exchange of funds, and they pride themselves on great communication well before and during the real estate closing process. Jacob Title in Huntsville and Madison, and online at jacobtitle.com.
In 2 years, you can have a career that makes sense for you. Skill up and earn a living working with your hands, or work on the front line of computer information systems and cybersecurity. Get a degree that lets your healing heart take care of people. Help design and manufacture the most advanced cars, machinery, or even aerospace components. In just 2 years, great careers are within your reach at Drake State Community and Technical College. Visit drakestate.edu to apply.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi at this hour. Optimism in Indianapolis regarding quarterback Carson Wentz. He was activated from the COVID-19 list yesterday, took a significant amount of reps at practice. The Colts are pleased where Wentz is at this point following foot surgery. He's felt good, has had no issues after practice. They're hoping he'll be ready to start Week 1 against Seattle. Baseball, Dodgers and Giants begin a crucial NL West series tonight in San Francisco. Dodgers have won 23 of 29 and are now tied with the Giants atop the division. The teams have split their first 16 games this season, with each scoring 68 times. Golf, Patrick Cantlay has a 2-shot lead on John Rahm on this Day 2 of the Tour Championship, the finale of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Week 1 of the college football season continues tonight. Number 10 North Carolina and Virginia Tech, 6 Eastern ESPN TV. UNC has one of the nation's top quarterbacks in Sam Howell.
From the ESPN studios at Pier 7